What does it take to walk away from a 25-year corporate career running divisions in Hong Kong, Beijing, Shanghai, and Chengdu, managing hundreds of people and working with clients like HSBC to start a tiny AI company that dares to take on the giants like Google and Microsoft? Colin Hong is the co-founder of DeepTranslate, a Hong Kong startup translating high-stakes IPOs, ESG reports, and legal documents between English and traditional Chinese. Drawing on decades in the financial printing industry, Colin's team has built a niche AI that delivers higher quality translations and helps clients cut turnaround times in half. In this episode, we unpack why going niche is the only way to outplay big tech when you can't outspend them, and why partnerships, cash flow discipline are the difference between surviving and shutting down. Welcome back to another episode of the Unsensible podcast, where we speak to the unrelenting founders on their quest to change the world. And today, one of those founders is trying to change the way that governments and large enterprise translates one of the most important languages in the world, which is traditional Chinese. Colin, great to have you on
Hi.
the show.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm going to ask you to pitch, because this is the first time on the podcast, and a pitch, 30 seconds, is going to be the best way for us to get to know you.
My name is Colin. I'm the co-founder of DeepTranslate. What we do is using AI to do translation for compliance documents, especially on financial documents like the annual report, ESG report, IPOs. We do a lot better than any traditional AI translation tools like Google's or any LLM that you may be using now. We double the qualities, the accuracies of the translation, and we help our clients to save 50% of the time to do the traditional translation work. So that's basically what we are doing now.
Probably one of the crispest pitches I've had so far. And
Thanks.
I think I can understand why, Colin. I've been doing a little bit of light stalking. I'll call it research. And I can see that you've had quite a lot of experience in corporate before you started
Yes.
DeepTranslate. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Before I found DeepTranslate in 2018, my job experience are in financial printing. What financial printing industry in Hong Kong is doing is they help listed company to do the typesetting, translation, and filing to different stock exchange. I have been doing this line of work for over 25 years. Yeah, I was working in a listed companies in Hong Kong, which is the largest financial PR companies, which help over 400 listed companies to do their financial PR, roadshows, and financial printings. And I'm in charge of the printing divisions in Hong Kong and Beijing, Shanghai, and Chengdu. And I had experience to do what it's called BPO, a business professional process outsource on printing for large corporate. Used to help HSBC, one of our largest clients at that time, on all the print procurement in APAC. So I have been traveling a lot to China, to India, Australia, Japan, and Taiwan as well.
So really deep subject matter expertise.
Mhm.
Tell me a bit more about your co-founders. You've got a couple of PhDs on deck as your co-founders, is that right?
See, the reasons why I co-found this company is, when you are in a corporate, you usually go to events and then you meet a lot of people, you get a bunch of business card. Usually when you go back, either you have time to scan it or you just put it on the desk for a while and then you forgot who they are. So I actually went to one of those events, and after the event, 2 weeks later, I got a call from someone I don't even remember. And then she said, well, I met you in a certain event, and then I have a friend who's a professor in Hong Kong universities. He was doing his studies in AI, and then I'd like to link up with you. And I am a big fan of technology, so I met Professor Chin. This is one of our co-founder now. He was in Hang Seng University, helping them to start a new AI department. One of the project is AI translation on IPOs, and I am actually in charge of the financial printing divisions at the time in the list company. So I'm very interested to work with the professor. So nowadays, universities don't not only get the fundings, they have to make sure that funding, that research is actually can be used in the commercial world. So we work together. So I provide information, insight of the air translation. In 2017, we worked for a year, and then we decide to start make it commercialize these products. At first, I started to discuss with the universities and our corporate. There's a lot of issues, and then it didn't work out. And all of a sudden, Professor Shin talked to me, hey, why don't we do it ourselves? We invite another PhD, another founders to join this team, and then we start a company in 2018.
That's amazing. It was kind of serendipitous in a way because you bumped into someone. So you've got Professor Francis Chin. What's his specialty?
Uh, Professor Francis Chin is he used to be professor in Hong Kong University. He's an AI expert, recognized by the Stanford universities as the top 2% scientist. So he has a research paper that over 20 years and still been using by a lot of researchers. That's what he's good at. And then I have another partner, is Dr. Bethany Chan. She's the most talented lady that I ever met. She is a PhD in computer science, so she's very good in tech. She used to be a barrister as well, so she got a law degree, and she also a CFA as well. So she's very good in finance. So most difficult exams she got those exams all passed, and a very
She's
good,
like the
very talented.
perfect Asian parent's child. She's got the finance degree, the law degree, and she's also a computer scientist.
Expert, yes. She started teaching in Chinese universities in when she was 18, so she is it's a genius, basically.
Okay, so I guess these are the scientists, and then you're the sales guy, right? You're in charge of growing.
I keep telling people that I'm the non-tech guy in a tech company, so I don't know anything about tech. And then I start an AI company.
Well, every company needs that growth person. Otherwise, it's very good tech with absolutely no revenue.
Exactly. See, the only challenge that I have compared to my partner is that they may be very talented in many, many ways, but they are not very good with people and they are not very good with selling. I guess you met a lot of IT person as well, and a lot of startups. So when you speak to those professors and founders, their babies, these startups, they see a lot of values, but when you negotiate with your clients, it's a lot of tactics. You need to give some in order to take some, right? So every company needs a salespersons to get deals. Otherwise, as everything is just on paper.
Our business exists because of these very smart people. Basically, I feel like I have two ears for a reason, right? So one ear is you listen to and get really interested by the science and get excited by it. And then the other ear is you're listening to what normal people talk about and think about. And it's definitely not the way they see the world. So being able to blend those two together has built us a business, basically. So I totally understand you. Tell me about how you got into and why the tools don't work so well for local market if you're dealing with ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, all these models.
First of all, we are a very niche product. We focus on the financial market, legal documents, Chinese to English or English to Chinese translations. When I first started in 2018, just know actually no one's really know what AI is. But Google AI translation exists. A lot of people has been using that for years already. We are only a startup. We are smaller than an SME. We are a tiny, tiny company. How could I beat those Googles and Microsoft? We have to do something very niche, and that part of it we do better than anyone else. So we focus on financial documents. And since I have over 25 years experience in the financial documents, I know the pain point. I know what the user needs. I know what the clients want. So I focus on that and provide a very high quality translation. I believe with all this LLM nowadays, people will look for very niche products because we cannot compete, to be honest. I don't think any startup can be competing with Alibaba, Meta's, Microsoft, or Google's. Right? They burn the money to get their market, but we're not that. So we provide very niche solution, and I believe that will be a trend for most of the startups on our business. Compliance is very important. Imagine that you have a M&A documents, billions and billions of dollars. You put on GPT or any others free models. That's a big risk there. We always say that whether you are buying a product or you are being a product yourself, right? When you buy a product, you pay and get some product you can use. When you use a free product online, you basically are the products.
Mm.
Your data will be uploaded to their server and then used for many, many different purposes. So in Hong Kong, there's a research that say the adoption of AI in financial market is over 80%. It's very high numbers. But then when we speak to clients, they all wants to use AI, that's for sure. But not every single one is willing to pay. There's a lot of reasons because of the data security, because they don't know it, because they're afraid that AI will take away their jobs. Most people in corporate world is that, well, let's see whether my competitors are using any AIs
Mhm.
before I move. I don't want to be the first, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
be the guinea pig. I want to see how others do. But then that's strange because the research tell you that over 80% of people are using AI already in the financial world. So how come? That's because a lot of people is bringing their AI, bring your own AI. They bring their free tools or whatever tools, which is non-compliance to the company, but no one cares because I don't
Everyone's
want to.
doing it.
First, everyone's doing it, and I don't want to spend 2 days to draft a proposal anymore.
So let's dig into that. You said you're a very hyper focused niche. What are some examples in financial documents that
Mhm.
regular LLMs always mess up?
Actually, M has a lot of problems. First of all, the consistency is very bad. If you translate a single sentence 10 different times, it gives you 10 different results. There's also hallucinations of AIs. Everyone's know that. Let's say when you translate a document, put down Mr. Chen in that document, it may give you uh, Chen Maobo, governors in Hong Kong, but that Mr. Chen may not be the correct translation. You just make up something, and then it looks really real. A lot of people doesn't really know that when you do a translation, sometimes when the RM try to give a very fluent translation, when you look at it, you understand it, but they did not translate word by words. There could be over 20% of the content will be gone. So imagine there's a legal document. Lawyers will argue on a single word for 2 days, and then now you have 20% of the content missing. That's could be a very big problem. Researchers came out this year is that LLM is not very good in translation number as well. So that could be another problem. We find that due to political initiative reasons, sometimes they won't handle certain contents on certain models. So that could be another problem as well. So imagine that you're doing an IPO yourself, and then you are in a very new industry that I never see. We don't have any data in any stock exchange before, so the translation will be very bad because we don't have the data. But nowadays we have the RM layer, so this help us a lot in those content as well. So I would say we're not really competitors against those RM models. We help each others.
Yeah, so your biggest competitor is probably a person.
Yes, it is. Believe it or not, a lot of people still don't want to use AI. And I met some translation firm. We discuss, we show them, we give them a free trial account, and they never use it because they actually afraid AI will take away their jobs. But I always believe if you don't embrace AI or any technologies, then it's not that AI will take away your job. It's the people who using AI will take away your job. So AI is just another tool. So we
In the history of time and commerce, I've never seen a company say, well, because we've got this new tool, we can process things 20 times faster. We're going to lay off 20 times more people and then stay where we are. No one's ever said that. Everyone said, this thing's going to make us 20 times faster. Well, let's make 20 times more,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
That's how things play out. So I think adaptation at an employee level is super important. I mean, for our team, especially, people say marketing is going to take away marketing jobs. It's going to take away marketing like grunt jobs, the jobs that people didn't like anyway.
Exactly.
Running those reports, buying media, programmatic buying of media, all of it, generating variations. This type of stuff is so like manual, and people, if that was the one thing you're good at, well, you're not going to want, an AI to take it away, right? Do you have plans to scale out within Asia?
Not at the moment, to be frank. Yeah, that's not. First of all, the overall economies around the world, I think, is still not very stable. So for SME, we have to be very careful on every step we take. I want to be Alibaba's able to invest a lot of this and that and see whether it went well, but we cannot do that in ourselves, a small company. Cash flow is everything. You need to maintain a very good cash flow. If you make a wrong step, you won't see me next year. So that's I think very important. It's actually not my first time to start a business. I started my first business in when I was 30 years old, and then even though I have clients at the time, do very good sales, but then I did not do well with my cash flow. And then one day, I don't have all this funding, I don't have the support, and then I don't know what to do the next day. And then eventually I went out of business at the time. So cash flow is very important. So currently I don't have a plan to do outside China, Hong Kong, or Taiwan.
Yeah, I think a lot of founders discovered the hard way in 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
You know, the importance of cash flow and how much quantitative easing really helped their business, right?
Yeah.
So you've got, I saw some announcements. You had, and you made an announcement about carbon exchange last year. Walk us through like how these types of partnerships are like beneficial to, you know, tech startups like you.
I think see, as a startup, I mentioned I want to do Cantonese. Actually, I want to do a lot of things, to be frank. But then as a startup, we cannot do a lot of things because we don't have the resources. Not only we don't have the money, we don't have the people to do it. So basically it's difficult. And partnership is very important since those carbon exchange or other partners, they are doing their niche market, their niche products, but we all have the same clientele. So basically, we all we're all looking for financial institutions or listed companies are all our target clients. So why not work together and then get a bigger market? And then when this when the clients does not have need for translation, they may have need for ESG report and then pass the clients to them so that at least when I go to my clients, so imagine every time I meet you, I just say, hey, how's it going? Do you want to use some translation, AI translation? Then you won't talk to me anymore. So I could introduce you. Oh, that's my partner. He has a ESG report that help you to build your uh, a ESG report in a very in a cheaper way and fast, which is compliance to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And this is my another partner who is a financial PR who helps a lot of listed company to do listing and broadcasting nowadays. So I think forming partners is very important for startups to survive as well.
Yeah, not just startups, actually. It's some of the biggest tech companies in the world. When I first started out, well, first of all, I started on the tech side and I dealt with the different layers of tech companies, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, you buy stuff from Microsoft, you don't really buy from Microsoft, but you buy it from their channel partners, you buy it from, you know, service providers or consultants who sell through. So on that side, yeah, I dealt a lot with that. But then when I went into marketing properly, I dealt with them, Microsoft,
Uh-huh.
IBM, the big tech players. And then you see actually the levels of partnerships and how many thousands of partners that they have, and actually the power of having that ecosystem, the leverage it gives them. So that no matter who you talk to, they're going to sell you one of three vendors anyway, right? Like it's good to see that, you know, you guys are doing it, and yeah, hopefully we'll see some more announcements from you soon. Talk a little bit more about, you know, moving. You went from corporate to startup. Were there any habits that you had to unlearn?
Oh, tons of it. Basically, for anyone who moves from corporate to a startup, first of all, my suggestion is think twice before you do it. See, when I used to in a corporate, I didn't even know I have so many resources. I hadn't asked people to do this and that, and then they give me a report, and then I go to my clients. And then now I am the person to do this and that, and then still deliver the report to my clients. I always say that now in a corporate, you focus on managing people. You focus on managing your boss expectation. You focus on the board, you focus on how to deal with your employee as well. Basically, I'm a link to everyone. But in a startup, we always say what I am in charge is payroll, to paper roll, right? So basically you do everything. You go to supermarket to buy those stuff and then give it to your staff. But then you also go to the bank to pay the salaries, and then you are both the account receivable and account payables, and you are the HR, yeah, everything. So actually you have to really unlearn a lot of things. And then also when you go to when you from a corporate I used to be is big companies with over a couple hundred people, and they got a very good brand, and also a Hong Kong listed companies. It's a lot easier to make a appointment when you're carrying a big corporate brand. They
Mm.
recognize your brand,
Yeah.
right? So even though I know the same person, I go to them with a SME of a startup. The situation change.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they don't have time for me. So that's different working with a big corporate and a startup. But then, of course, in a corporate, every single decision is difficult. You have to deal with a lot of stakeholders. You have to deal with a lot of peers, right? I always said in a big corporate, uh, when we have monthly or weekly meetings in a big corporate, right? But those meetings is not important. Those pre-meetings is very important. You have to go to different pre-meetings to deal with different stakeholders to get them agree on certain things before you go to the meetings. The meeting is just a format, put it this way. So that's very important. But in startup, you have to be very flexible with your clients, with your peers, with your employees. I no longer can, when my employees come back at 10, I won't have a HR go to them and send them a warning letter, right? So in the startups, you have to be very flexible. But then in a corporate, when you're managing over 100 people, you give flexibilities to them, it will be a big headache
Chaos.
for yourself. It will be a chaos, right? And then people will complain, and then one start coming back at 10, everyone will be coming back at 10. And then it was like a race, but then someone will be 10:30 and 11, right? So you have to learn a lot of things and learn a lot of new skills.
Yeah, what you said about, when you were in a corporate, you could get a meeting with anyone fairly easily, and then you switch to a small company, and then it's harder to get a meeting. You're the same person. And I always tell people this is like your first lesson in branding, because nothing is different. You're the same. The
Yeah.
only thing that's different is the name on your business card and what it implies, right? The weight
Yep.
that it carries. Yeah. I mean, people, especially founders, don't really think enough about it. They think that, oh, I've got a really great product. So if I sit in front of you, I stand in front of you and tell you about my product, you should want to buy it.
Hmm.
You should want to hear about it, right? And it's not the
Yeah.
case. When you're talking to me about your product, I'm thinking about, can I get home in time to cook dinner? Like, where are my kids? Is the cat okay? Like,
True, true. On every single event or speech, actually, people only take away one or two things, right? So even you have a 1 hour presentations or an hour of this podcast, after a day, they may only remember one or two things. So that one or two things is very important to them. And then also branding, as you mentioned, is very important as well. So as a startup, I used to only wear suit, ties, and all that, right? Now that I got my long hair, gray
yeah.
hair. To be frank, may not a very professional appearance. To me, I think it is a very good brand. When you went to people, you went to an event. Those are hundreds and thousands of people in that event, and then everyone's not the same. Everyone with
Yeah.
glasses, with a suit, with black suit, white shirt, maybe without a tie nowadays, and then with the glasses. Everyone look the same. Short hair, skin hair on the side, everyone look the same. So you need to do something to let the people remember you. So that's one thing that I do. I believe that helps as well.
You definitely look more like tech now than you do a banker. So I remember I messaged you when I saw one of your headshots video once. You were in a suit. You were very buttoned down, very serious. I was like, that doesn't look like the guy I know. That doesn't look like the tech guy I know. So we're coming up to the hour, and I want to leave everyone with two things, really.
Um,
Number one is, what tech do you use in your daily work life that you can't live without?
I would say AI translation. Basically, it is AI translation is really one of the tag that I use because it's very important. Um, to write in different language nowadays to different people. That's very important. Another thing is definitely the LLM. So when you draft a proposal, when you draft emails, now see people use. It's not too long ago people was using Grammarly to help them to write. A lot of people are still using it, but with LM nowadays, you don't really need Grammarly, to be frank. And then actually, I wrote a message and then used the LM to proofread and then help us improve it. So that's something that I use a lot. And then I have been dealing with foreigners and then also mainland Chinese and Taiwanese. So I have different clients. So to write the Chinese in a certain way, definitely need AI to help me as well. And then I use RM to do another things. It's helped me to do brainstorming. So I think brainstorming is very important. We used to have a team of people sit down to give different ideas so that all of a sudden you may get a new ideas and then to do that. I nowadays I use sometimes use RM to help. I ask RM to be my CFOs, to be CTOs, to be my design creatives, and then we discuss. So even though I'm discussing with myself, but we discussed so that and I find it very, very, very useful that when you ask your AI to ask you questions, it actually help you thinking, and then it actually generates some ideas that I never thought of. So I think that's very, very useful. So basically, is RM and translation. So that's two most used in AI
Brilliant.
tools. Yeah.
I would say that for me, I do use those two things a lot as well. Yeah, totally understand that. In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to ask you for give the answer that comes to the top of your mind right away. Best book or resource that you're reading right now?
I actually go to a lot of YouTube channels to learn about cryptocurrency, and then I use
Okay,
double speed to learn it. So I think crypto is true. Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you weren't a founder, what would you be doing instead?
I think I want to travel around the world. I want to see the world.
One piece of advice you'd give to a founder who wants to start something in Hong Kong or the Greater Bay Area?
Think twice.
Don't do it. And do you have a prediction for AI in the financial services in the next 2 years?
I think the adoption will be close to 100%.
Big call. Big call. I think I'm
Yeah.
with you. Okay. Thank you very much for
No, thank
joining
you.
us on the podcast today. And I want you to leave us with one exciting development that you've got coming up.
We are currently developing a tools that help audit firms or anyone who need to check against the documents on all these numbers. So basically, what I mean is when you have financial documents, say, and then a report says a bunch of numbers like the top line, bottom line, compared with last year's and all that. Within the text, there's also numbers referring to those tables as well. So we are actually building a tools that help people to scan the documents to identify whether there's problems, issues, and that. We found that in a lot of financial documents, actually, there's a lot of mistake, even though proofread by a lot of professionals, and they still make a lot of mistake and post it online and file into the stock exchange. So I think this tool actually helped a lot of people to save a lot of time to do their current jobs. But still, we're still working on it.
Thank you so much for joining the show. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Colin.
Yeah, thank you.